In this episode, I'm going to show you how to get started with Photoshop. So if you have Photoshop already installed, it should show up on your dock. If not, you might have to search for it, but if it's right there, you can just click on it. It just has the PS icon. If you don't see it right there, you just do a quick search for it. Then from there, you can click on it and open it up. And it will take a moment for Photoshop to load. And once it opens up, you're going to notice right away that it's kind of similar to Illustrator. You have your tools panel over here. You can click and drag and move that just like you can in Illustrator. You have your menu bar up here with your different options, drop-down menus for File, Edit, Image, Layer, Type, Select, Filter, 3D, View, and probably most importantly, Window. So just like in Illustrator, if you don't see the panel you need, you can go to Window and click on that. So there's my Layers panel. If I click on it, it'll open it up, and it's a similar icon as in Illustrator. So Photoshop uses layers and layer groups as opposed to Illustrator where they get into layers and sublayers. So Photoshop has the same basic idea with layers, however. And you can, just like in Photo or Illustrator, you can click and drag these around and move those. So it is totally customizable as far as how you arrange things. And you can go to Window, Workspace, and then you have all kinds of different preset tools and panels, depending on what kind of work you're going to be doing, such as for photography, painting, motion, etc. Probably for what we're going to be doing mostly, you probably go with photography or painting. So it's really just a personal preference. Now, as far as creating a new file in Photoshop, if you wanted to create a new file, just go to New, or File, down to New, and then you have the same options, or similar options as you do in Illustrator. You can use the document type, paper, different settings here, um, and also the color profile. So for the most part, you're not really going to need to worry about editing this right away. And then you would basically just click OK, and that opens that blank document, blank canvas in Photoshop. But if that's not really what I want to do, if I have an image and I want to just open it in Photoshop, I would use the open command as opposed to the new command. So when we click open, you can go ahead and just click on any photo that you have to open in Photoshop. So let's see, maybe we'll go with this photo right there and then just click open. And there you have it. The file is in Photoshop now, and I'm pretty much ready to start editing and playing around with the different tools and such. And we'll get started with that in the next video. Last thing I just want to show you is how you would save. So let's say I had to save my work, as I will obviously have to do. As far as file types, um, for the most part, I recommend saving your finished work as JPEGs. But while you're working on or in Photoshop and you're not finished with a certain file, save it as the PSD. So primarily we're going to be using the Photoshop .psd, .pdt, and so on. This is the file extension we want, and that is basically your working Photoshop file. And then you just pay attention to where it's going, and you just click Save. And if you already have a file labeled with the same name, obviously, you can choose whether or not to overwrite it. I'm not going to actually overwrite that. So instead, I'm just going to click Cancel. But if you wanted to save it, you just click Save. And in the next video, we'll kind of get into using some of the selection tools and some of the other cool features in Photoshop.